Welcome back to another video. Today I will be covering a story regarding sexual abuse that happened at an LCMS church. From the Roy's Report, titled Minnesota Church Reeling After Learning Volunteer Charged with Sexually Assaulting Children Had History of Similar Allegations, written by Liz Likens. Originally posted on April 17th, 2025. Below that, we have an image of the alleged offender, appearing to be white, middle-aged, also has glasses. Underneath the image is the caption, Joshua Alario Seaman, 50, a volunteer at a Christian school and church in Roseville, Minnesota, has been charged with 4 counts of criminal sexual conduct. Photo courtesy of Ramsey County Sheriff's Office. A Minnesota church community is reeling after learning that a church volunteer arrested and charged last week with sexually assaulting multiple children has a decades-long history of similar allegations. According to a criminal complaint, Joshua Alario Seaman, 50, has been charged with assaulting 4 children between the ages of 4 and 6 at King of Kings Lutheran Church and School in Roseville, Minnesota. The alleged assaults occurred this year. Seaman faces 2 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct with someone under 14 and 2 counts of second-degree criminal sexual conduct with someone under 14. He is being tried in the Ramsey County District Court. According to the criminal complaint, police also have reports alleging that Seaman committed sexual assaults in 2001, 2006, 2014, 2015, and 2022. However, the complaint states that prosecution on all but one of these cases has been declined because Seaman has a cognitive disability. In that one case, Seaman was deemed incompetent to stand trial. Below that, we see an image of a building. The caption below that reads, King of Kings Lutheran Church and School in Roseville, Minnesota. Quote, Seaman is a cognitively delayed adult with a lengthy history of sexual assault accusations against him made by vulnerable adults and now young children, end quote. The complaint reports. Quote, multiple attempts have been made to get Seaman help for his sexual acting out, but his deviant behavior continues, end quote. According to an email obtained by Alpha News, linked here, King of Kings allegedly performed a background check on Seaman in November 2021. Seaman passed a Protect My Ministry background check before beginning volunteer work, the church's senior pastor, Stephen Bielenberg, and school principal, Jay Shute, reportedly said in the email. Then in 2023, Seaman completed a sexual abuse awareness training course in August 2023, the email reportedly said. The Roy's Report, TRR, reached out to King of Kings Lutheran Church and School for more information, but the church declined to comment. Following Seaman's arrest on April 10th, police said that Seaman's brother, who acts as his legal guardian, told police that they weren't allowed to interview Seaman, and said the brother was, quote, going to seek the advice of an attorney on his brother's behalf, end quote. Quote, the state views Seaman, as, a high risk to public safety, end quote. The complaint states, quote, given his known history of acting out sexually, the state asks that he be held in custody until arrangements can be made preventing his access to vulnerable adults and children, end quote. Seaman is currently being held in Ramsey County Law Enforcement Center. Section, Seaman assaulted children in church bathrooms. Seaman's latest criminal charges stem from a series of reports submitted by parents who allege Seaman assaulted their children in the church's bathroom, according to the criminal complaint. Seaman regularly took the children to the bathroom and locked them in stalls with himself for extended periods of time. On April 6, police responded to a report from a father who said his 5-year-old son was sexually assaulted by a Seaman during Sunday school at King of Kings. The father told police that after picking his son up from church, the boy complained about his body hurting. The boy then disclosed that Seaman had taken him to the bathroom and assaulted him. The boy alleged that Seaman had done this around 3 or 4 times in the past, according to the criminal complaint. The father also reported that Seaman has been repeatedly messaging and calling the family, offering to watch the victim. Below that we have another image of the inside of a church with 3 crosses and a congregation before it, with the caption of "Worship Service at King of Kings Lutheran Church in Roseville, Minnesota." Continuing on. Then on April 7th, police responded to reports from 3 more parents that alleged Seaman committed similar sexual assaults against their children this year. The assaults reportedly involved penetration and fondling, according to the criminal complaint. The victims included a 6-year-old boy, a 5-year-old girl, and a 4-year-old boy. Following the alleged assaults, Seaman repeatedly contacted these parents and asked to watch their children outside of church, the complaint notes. One of the victims is the grandson of a former assistant pastor from the church, according to the complaint. The former pastor alleged Seaman touched his grandson's genitals. After the child told his family, the child reportedly asked, quote, "Mr. Josh asked me to pull my pants down. Is that wrong?" End quote. The boy then began crying. Seaman has volunteered at the church for the past 2 years, the complaint states. Section. Attorney. Churches need to go beyond background checks. According to the email obtained by Alpha News, King of Kings first learned of Seaman's past allegations after receiving the formal criminal complaint on April 11th. The email said the church sent a cease and desist to Seaman and that the church's attorney is working on securing a restraining order for the ministry. Quote, "We are requesting the court to order him not to communicate in any form with any church or school family," end quote. The email reportedly said, end quote. "We know this will be a long process. We are in the process of reevaluating our procedures and policies," end quote. Below that is another photo of the outside of a church building on a sunny day. And the caption below that reads, "Recess at King of Kings School in Roseville, Minnesota." Continuing on. King of Kings is a part of the Minnesota South District of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, parentheses, LCMS, end parentheses, according to its website. The Synod states that it requires churches to do their, quote, "due diligence to ensure that workers and volunteers have passed any necessary background screening," end quote. Churches can't rely on standard criminal background checks alone to ensure volunteers or staff members are safe, said Boz Javidjian, an attorney specializing in church sexual abuse cases. Javidjian said churches can conduct deeper background checks that look beyond just when someone has been charged with a crime. Checks can evaluate arrest records too. He said church can take any piece of information found in these reports to better research court records. However, background checks shouldn't be the only tool churches have to ensure a safe environment, he said. Quote, "So oftentimes, we use this background check as the end-all litmus test to determine whether someone is capable and qualified to serve," end quote, Javidjian said. Quote, "The research clearly tells us that most offenders never get caught, or most of the time when they do get caught, they have already offended dozens of people," end quote. Instead, churches need a holistic approach to keeping children safe. Javidjian said everyone in the church needs to be trained on how to spot red flag behavior in individuals. Additionally, churches need to cultivate a culture where people are comfortable reporting this information. Quote, "A background check is a good tool, but it's not the only tool," end quote, Javidjian said. Quote, parentheses, "churches," end parentheses, "should create a culture where people who see something that might be a little off actually feel safe and comfortable disclosing and reporting it," end quote. Here ends the article. Here is the website for King of Kings Roseville. Here, under the welcome section, we do see that they say King of Kings Lutheran in Roseville, Minnesota is part of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. we have the general setup for a website of a church, where you have home, about, ministries, events, sermons, annual events. Under More, there are two options, newsletter and resources. Under newsletters, we see King's Quill monthly newsletters. The most recent one that they have uploaded to the site is September 2024. I would be interested to see their newsletters published this year. But as of last year, they had one for September 2024, August 2024, July, June, May, and so on. As for resources, well, as you can imagine, they don't disclose that a volunteer of theirs is being investigated for sexual abuse. But do they list any resources for parents of sexually abused children? Nope, nothing. They also don't have a handbook on the website either. Before ending this video, I'm going to quick cover the email that was covered in alphanews.org. And in the email to church members, Pastor Bielenberg acknowledged the, quote, severely shaken, end quote, state of the community and said that the church only became aware of Seaman's past allegations after receiving the formal criminal complaint on April 11th. Quote, Josh passed a Protect My Ministry background check in November of 2021 before he started to volunteer, end quote, the email said. Quote, as of today, Josh remains in custody. A cease and desist letter was delivered to the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office to be served to him. This letter was also given to his legal guardian. Our attorney is actively working on a restraining order on behalf of the organization, which states that Josh is not to participate in any church or school event, on or off campus. We are requesting the court to order him not to communicate in any form with any church or school family, end quote. It continued. The email said Seaman also, quote, has a school connection helping in our extended care program until early January 2024, end quote. I think it would be really helpful for this email to be published in full. Does the email encourage the congregation to take a look at its children, and if they have any concerns about them being sexually abused, is there a resource they can be connected to? What about a resource for people who have reported the sexual abuse? A resource for those victims? As far as I can tell, based off of what's been reported and what's been quoted, there is nothing like that in the email. Which, at the very least, it seems like the church does seem to be cooperating with the cops on this. But, just like every other church, will do absolutely nothing to help the victims and the damage of the volunteer that they allowed to be on site. Thank you for watching/listening, and I will see you in the next video.